animals have to consider when selecting a proper communication channel, and then the major functions of the communication. So those are the things that we are going to discuss in this lecture session today. Now, before we start, let's go back to our, the basic model for animal communication. You see, when a stimulus given by a particular animal causes a behavioral change in another animal, and then we say that there is a communication between the two, and the signal sender is what you call the signaler, and the signal receiver is what you call the signal receiver or receiver. And as a result of receiving the signal, it decides and then shows the behavioral change, the response. Now the signal is sent. You know that animals use various communication channels, visual channel. The signal is sent visually, and then signal can be sent as a sound. That's what you call the auditory channel. Or the signal can be sent as a chemical. So you learned about all these things. And the signal can be sent by touching, also by creating an electric field. See that? So you learned about the visual channel, the visual communication, the auditory communication, and the olfactory communication in the previous lectures with lots of different examples. So today we are going to talk about the tactile communication and the electrochemical communication, right? So this again is the summary of what I told you. The signaler and the signal, it is received by the receiver, and the signal is sent by a communication channel. There are so many different communication channels. The major communication channels are the visual channel, the auditory channel, and olfactory channel, right? So like I said, we are going to talk about the tactile communication and the electrocommunication today in this lecture. Now, what is tactile communication? Now, in the tactile communication, information or the signal is transmitted in the form of physical contact, touch stimuli, right? Now, I'm going to give you two examples in this case. Now, the female primates, our mothers, the monkey mothers or the langur mothers or chimpanzee mothers, what they do usually is that they hold their, the babies, right? They even, touch the head, right? The face or the hands gently, right? So this helps. This is a kind of a communication that occurs between the mother and the child. And this particular communication reinforces the social bonding between the mother and the father, mother and the child. Right? Another example, very good example, is the bombardier beetle. Right? Now I'm in this photograph here. What you see is a bombardier beetle. It's a coleopteran, an insect. Right? Now, if you touch the backside of the bombardier beetle, immediately upon touching, you will receive a hot, very hot liquid. That's the response given by the bombardier beetle if you touch it, right? So you touch, that's your signal. Bombardier beetle, receives it and then understands the signal, and it's responded. Now, this is the releasing of this hot chemical is its form of communication, how it responds, right? So how do they do this? How do they produce this hot stuff? You see, when you consider the internal anatomy of this particular beetle, now this is quite unique to these animals, right? Now, they have a very unique organ system inside the body. Here, Now they have a kind of a reservoir that is given in green color in this drawing. There it produces and it has accumulated a particular substance that is hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, right? And attached to this reservoir, there is a pair of glands, and those two glands produce an enzyme, hydroquinone. Okay. Now, if you touch the backside of this animal, immediately, the internal muscles constrict, and the hydroquinone is released into the hydrogen peroxide chamber, and both the mixture then will be, pushed into the mixing chamber, somewhere in here, explosion chamber. And as a result of these two substances being mixed, hydrogen peroxide and hydroquinone, the temperature of hydrogen peroxide increases. That's to say that the temperature elevates up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That's like boiling water. It is very hot, right? Now, this reaction takes place only if you touch. So now the animal, whoever the person touches the backside, will receive this hot shot from its back, right? The one who touches the backside, right, will get this hot substance. Now, if for example, if the animal who touched the backside of this animal is a predator, an enemy, right? So the enemy is immediately dispelled by this particular act. ඒ නිසා ඔයගොල්ලෝ මතක තියාගන්න මේ જાතිය බීටල් කෙනෙක් අහුනොත් එහෙම පිටිපස්ස පැත්ත අල්ලන එක ටිකක් භයානක වෙන්නට පුළුවන්, right? When touched the enemy, if you touch it, you'll receive a hot shot, right? And then there are many other examples. Now, for example, if you say, if you consider the monkeys, you see the monkeys, I have seen this very often with monkeys. Once I observed a monkey, one monkey is groomed by another one, and the second monkey is groomed by yet another person. So likewise, I saw this several times at Katharagama, right? At the Devalaya ground, I saw this, right? Now this, why do they do this? Now, it's a kind of touch that gives a kind of a comfort. And at the same time, now they are grooming. Actually, what they are doing is now they are picking up the parasites, the parasites that live amongst the hair cover in the bird. For example, the fleas, mako, then some mites. It's possible that those animals to hide among the hairs of these animals, right? And then now this is also very, very common in our rural areas in the country. Now this photograph I downloaded from the internet, that this is this photograph is from India. You see, now this girl searches for head louse in another person. Now the mother is touching the baby. Now, in addition to giving this kind of the touching, it also helps to maintain the hygiene of these animals, right? So now this is a kind of a touch, tactile communication. When another person, see, that this is quite clear, perhaps in you also, right? Your mother sometimes asks you for your head. Many girls might have experienced this, right? Now, another example that happens inside the beehive, right? Now, inside the beehive, it is quite dark, right? Now, you know that a worker bee who went searching for nectar and pollen comes back to the hive and then performs the waggle dance and the round dance, right? So now it has to perform these two kind of dances in that dark hive. Although the other bees, they have eyes, they really cannot see in the dark. But what they do is that while the one in the center is making the dance, they place their antennas. You see these little, the probes coming out from their heads. They are what you call the antenna. Now they can feel the kind of dance the scout bee is performing among them. They know. Now this is again a tactile communication, right? So tactile communication is quite common among insects, among primates. It's quite common. Also some other mammals. Now when you consider about the advantages and disadvantages of tactile communication, you see that tactile communication is the best. The first advantage is that it is very, very fast. You touch it, you feel it, isn't it? And the other thing is that the tactile communication helps to, establish bonds between the animals who are doing this kind of communication, reinforce social bonds and grouping. And there are disadvantages also. They do not last long. Once, finish touching, and that is it, right? And the other disadvantage is that they are short range, as the two organisms who are involved in this particular kind of communication had to be, together, sit next to each other, right? So now, so that is about the tactile communication. Now let's consider about the other communication, the final communication, the electrocommunication. Now in this slide, I am showing you some strange looking animals, fishes, right? Now these fishes, we don't see these fishes in Sri Lanka. They are mostly abundant in some countries in African continent. Now this fish, the one in the top, you see, this is its head. It has a very unique, tail, the caudal fin, and also the the posterior side, quite black in color. One very particular feature, unique feature in this fish is that it has a kind of an elongated, snout. The common name given to this fish is African elephant nose electric fish. Now I have used a new word, electric fish. Then another fish, again a similar protrusion as above is seen in the fish in the middle, right? And there is another fish, the third one. They all belong into three different categories. Not only three categories, there are many other fishes who can produce electricity, right? So the shape is quite different to the shapes of the above two fishes, right? Now the quite obvious and very important feature again in these fishes is that they can produce a kind of an electricity, an electric field around their body. Now this electric field is produced by some other fishes also, but for example, electric ray, right? The electric field that is produced by the electric ray or the electric eel, very strong. Now, for example, an electric eel can produce electric field with a voltage, say around 600 to 800 volt. That is 3 or 4 times the voltage in our domestic power lines, right? Now, if accidentally if you touch the domestic power line, you get an electric shock, right? Now imagine a voltage that is 3 times as that in the domestic power line is produced by those electric eels. So you can imagine the kind of power that electricity gives. Now those fishes, electric eel, electric ray, they are known as strongly electric fish, because they produce a very powerful electric field. But these fishes, now they produce an electric field which is very weak. So therefore, they are commonly known as the weakly electric fishes. Now, the electric eels, rays, as well as these fishes are commonly known as the electric fishes because they produce electricity. But some of them produce weak electric fields, so they are known as the weakly electric fishes, and the others, they produce a strong electric field, or therefore they are known as the strongly electric fishes. Now, the question is, why do they produce an electric field? Why do they produce an electric field? Now, the electric field is produced by these fishes, weakly electric fishes, just to communicate with each other, just to communicate. Those strongly electric fishes, they produce that electric field just to kill a prey animal. That's the difference. Strongly electric fishes produce a very strong electric field to incapacitate the prey animal. But they, on the other hand, produce an electric field which is very weak to communicate. Okay, so in order to produce electricity, these weakly electric fishes have electricity producing organs. Then you should understand they should have they should have receptors that captures the electric field produced by another animal, another fish. Now see the African elephant nose weakly electric fish. Now this red area at the base of the caudal fin is the area that produces the electric field. So this area is known as the electric organ. I'm not going to talk about the anatomy and the physiology of the electricity that they produce, but just remember this is the area that this animal produces the electricity, right? And the entire area, the outside area, basically is the area that receives the electricity. So there are electroreceptors all around the body, right? Now, in this fish, now this is a particular fish species. Now here you see the electric field produced by this fish can be depicted in a wave, right? බොහොම ළඟ කාල අන්තරවලදී ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් ෆීල්ඩ් එක ඇති කරනවා නැති කරනවා එක වෙලාවකදී වැඩි කරනවා ආය ඇති කරනවා නැති කරනවා ආය ඇති කරනවා නැති කරනවා එන්න එහෙම තමයි the electric wave the wave that it produces, right? Now the other one, the elephant nose the fish, weakly electric fish. Now this is how its the electricity wave is like. Now this is yet another species. Now you see in this species the wave is somewhat different. Now here the minimum duration, right? Milliseconds 0.2. Here the duration between two waves is 5 milliseconds. right? Therefore, you will understand the electric field produced by each species is unique to that species. It is unique, right? Because of this uniqueness, you will now understand only the fish of the same species that are capable of detecting this particular unique electric wave will respond. The electric field and the waveform is species specific. That is what it is given. Therefore, you will understand the electric field can be used, for communication. So that is, this is how they use the electric field for communication. You see, conveying information among the members of the group. And then this electric field is used for courtship. Courtship කියලා කියන්නේ chemically චර්යාව කියන එක. Current එක ගන්න තමයි chemically දෙන්නේ. හරිද? Then to identify the sex, then it's mental status, it is motivational status, attack warning, then the submission, etc. Then again it is somewhat related to the electric field that they generate, right? And then also to detect the environmental conditions, they use the electric field, right? So this is the example that I told you earlier. Now this is an electric eel. Now this electric eel produces a huge electric current, an instant huge electric current where the voltage is about 660, right? That is 3 times the power of the domestic power line. You see, you can imagine the kind of the shock the prey animal will receive. Instantly the prey animal will get an electric shock and it will be immobilized, and the eel, which is a predator, can eat it, right? Now you will also understand that the electric field that they produce is not used for communication. That's only to immobilize the prey animal. ලස්සන දේවල් කියනවා නේද සත්තු ලෝකේ. Now these are actually behaviors. Okay. Now with this, we are going to learn about the factors that should be considered when finding a proper communication channel. Now listen to this part very attentively. This is of a part that is highly important. All the other parts are also important, but this one, the information that you are going to learn under this will help you to understand why and how animals select the proper communication channel. See, now there are 4 factors to be considered when selecting a proper communication channel for communication. The first one is how much energy is needed for communication. මේක හරි වැදගත් කාරණාවක්. එම තමන් තෝරාගත්ත sannivedana මාධ්‍යයෙන් අනෙක් සතෙකු සමග sannivedanaya කරන්නට කොපමණ ශක්ති ප්‍රමාණයක් වැය වෙනවද? හරිනේ? ඔන්න ඕකට තමයි කියලා මේ මෙතනින් කියන්නේ. How much energy is needed for communication. Okay. Now I am showing you here a leopard. Now the leopards are highly territorial animals. Territorial animals. Okay, why do I say that? I have to make a small drawing. Let me share my whiteboard. Can you all see the whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Now consider that we have a huge forest. Okay, now this is the forest. let's say that it is a scrub forest. Scrub forest එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ලඳු කැලෑවක්, ඝන කැලෑවක් නෙමෙයි. Now, when you consider the Singharaja, it is a, thick forest. Now, the scrub forests can be seen in dry areas in the country. Now, for example, in Yala, Dilpattu, etc., we have scrub forests. Right? The plants are not that tall, the trees are not that tall, and then they are, scattered here and there. There are short trees as well as large trees. Mostly there are grasses, etc. In the scrub forest. Now the leopards live in the scrub forests. Leopards. Consider in this huge scrub forest area, there are 3 leopards, males, and there are 5 leopards, and there are females. Now they are quite, they are not social animals. Not social animal means they don't live in groups. They live in solitude. They live in solitude. Solitude කියලා කියන්නේ තනිව තමයි ජීවත් වන්නේ. When you consider a leopard, one leopard, now this leopard is quite seen in this part of the forest. We are here inside this area, we frequently see. Then the other leopard can also be seen, not in here, where the red dots are, can be seen, frequently seen in the third leopard. You've seen this. මේ ඩොට් ගන්න එක දවසේ එක අවස්ථාවලදී මාසයක එක අවස්ථාවලදී උන් දැක්ක තැන්. හරිද? It is mostly seen at the center here. Here again at the center it is mostly seen. But anyway, those are the areas where they are seen. Likewise, you can make different areas where they are. The others are also living. This is the area where another one is. Okay. Now, what you should understand, therefore, as far as these red dots are concerned, now this is its area. Its area. And the red one, sorry, the brown one, it is its area. Let me dotted line. When you consider the green one, it is this area. Now this area is its territory. This entire area is the red one's territory. Vasam. If this is individual 1, this is territory 1. This is territory 2. And the blue one is the territory 3. Territory, Vasama. Usually, a territory of one individual is not invaded by another individual. If that happens, then, kind of a fight ensues. That is not good for both, animals. Now, the red one, it is usually shown, it is usually seen in the entire area. So, in addition, going here and there, it has to advertise the other, tigers, other leopards in the area, do not come into my area. So, for that, they adopt several, strategies, several behaviors. Number 1 is that they patrol around the territory boundary. So මේ වටේ හැමතිස්සෙම ඇවිදවි ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් මේක ඇතුළෙත් ඉන්නවා. මෙහෙම දකින්නකොට මෙහෙම වටේ ඇවිදින දකින්නකොට අනිත් එකා හිතනවා මේක තමයි ඔගේ ටෙරිටරි. ඒ විදිහටම මෙයාත් එයාගේ බවුන්ඩරි එක වටේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඇවිදිනවා. පැට්‍රෝලින්. දෙවෙනි උපක්‍රමය තමයි මේ තමන්ගේ වසම ඇතුලේ තියෙන මොකක් හරි උස් තැනකට වෙලා ඌ හයියෙන් ගොරවනවා. නොයි විදියට. That's a kind of auditory communication, vocalization. Making frequent vocalization. Third one is while patrolling around the boundary, then it will urinate at certain areas, prominent areas. Urination at the boundary. Fourth one is defecation at the boundary. ඒ කියන්නේ අර බාගෙට වහලා දාලා යන්නේ පූසු මං කිව්වා පූසු මේගොල්ලෝ පූස් පොලි කට්ටියනේ ඒක කරනවා. Fifth one අනිත් එක තමයි මේ කට්ටිය ඔය මේ මාජින් එකේ තියෙන මේ බවුන්ඩරි එකේ තියෙන ගස් එහෙම සූරනවා මේ නියපොතු වලින්. හිතන්න බෑ ඒක මේ නියපොතු මේ ෂාපන් කරගන්න කරන වැඩක් කියලා. No. That's a kind of a message, a silent message indicating, well, this area has already been claimed by another individual. Scratching. දැන් මට කියන්න මේ කියන කාරණා වලින් ශක්තිය හුඟක් වැය වෙන ක්‍රියාවලිය. මේ දේවල් කරන්න. Can anyone of you tell? Please speak.
Patrolling around the boundary.
Yeah.
And
vocalization. This one. Then third one. There is another thing that needs a lot of energy.
Scratching the trees.
Yeah, the scratching the trees. So they do these things, but not very frequently. Main me deka තමයි වැඩිපුරම කරන්නේ මේ අය. මොකද්ද? Urinating and defecation. ඒවා කොහොමද යන දේවල් නෙමේ මුත්‍රා සහ මලාපද්‍රව්‍ය. ඒවා කොහොමද යන දේවල්. හරිද? So those two requires the smallest amount of energy to mark the boundary. So rather than using the high energy requiring advertising methods, they use the urination at the boundary and defecation at some points, some prominent areas in the boundary. Okay, let me go back to my presentation. So, how much energy is needed for communication? Strong vocalization and patrolling around the territory is not very common because those activities cost too much energy. What you see in this photograph is a leopard defecating. So urinating and defecation at prominent places along the boundary is very common, and because those activities require the least amount of energy. Therefore, in order to communicate, now they select the olfactory communication because it requires the least amount of energy. Shakti වැඩි කරන දේවල් කරලා ශක්තිය අපතේ යවා ගන්න එක පාඩුයි. මොකද they are doing this because next thing what happens is the mating, to which a lot of energy is necessary. හරි වැඩකට නැති දේවල් වලට ශක්තිය වැය කරලා ඒක අපතේ යනවා කියන අපතේ වීම වළක්වගෙන වැදගත් දෙයකට ශක්තිය ඉතුරු කරගන්න එක තමයි මේ කට්ටිය මේ කරන්නේ. හරිනේ? Now this is one example that I can give. So likewise, if you consider all the examples that I told you, you can find many different examples as well. Good. Now the second factor is the chosen signal copied by other illegitimate users. නිකක් සංකීර්ණවාගේ තමයි තේරෙන්නේ. හරි. දැන් මම මේක සිංහලෙන් කියන්නම්කෝ. තමන් සංනිවේදනය සඳහා තෝරාගත් සංනිවේදන මාධ්‍ය එහෙම නැත්නම් සිග්නල් එක වෙනත් හොර සතෙක් විසින් උපයෝගී කරගත යුතු නැත කියන එක තමයි මේ කතා කරන්නේ. හරිනේ? තමන් මං කරන වැඩේ තවත් එක්කෙනෙක් කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. එච්චරයි. the chosen communication channel or the signal should not be copied by an unauthorized animal. Now, to this, I can give you a very good example. Now, I'm showing you a fish here. This fish, it has a unique color pattern. It's kind of a yellowish, the anterior end, and there is a dark black color band running on either side of the body, and the posterior part is quite bluish. Cleaner wrasse. The scientific name is Labroides dimidiatus, cleaner wrasse. Now they are marine fishes. They are not very big, about 5-6 centimeters, right? They are very, they are quite common in coral reefs. You see, amongst the coral reefs, there are lots of different fish species live. You see, we have one species of fish. Now these are the cleaner wrasses, and we have another fish species, a beautiful one. These are the cleaner wrasses, and another one, another big fish, and there are cleaner wrasses. Let me. මෙන්න මේ කට්ටියට ක්ලීනර් රැස් කියලා කියන්නේ ඇයි මේ මානද? දැන් මේ ලොකු මාළුවෝ එහෙම අර කොරල් පාර අස්තෙන් එහාට මෙහාට පීනගෙන යනකොට it is possible upon contact their body surface get wounded. It is possible, right? And it is also possible that these the surface wounds be infected. It's possible. Second thing is there are lots of parasitic species. Now they can be seen clinging to the body surface of these bigger fishes, or they can be seen clinging into the gills of the bigger fishes. Or those parasites could be seen inside the buccal wall. Parasites. Now, unfortunately, these big fishes, they don't have hands like we have, so they cannot clean those wounds. They cannot get rid of these parasites, right? Now they come closer to the cleaner wrasses, and then they show a very unique behavior. ඇවිල්ලා කට උඩ පැත්තට හැරෙන විදිහට තියාගෙන එකතන නැවතිලා මේ බරල් ගහන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. That's a kind of an indication given by them to these smaller cleaner wrasses. Friends, please clean me. ඕක තමයි දෙන සිග්නල් එක. හරි. එතකොට අපි දකින දේ තමයි මේ cleaner wrassesලා මේ ලොකු මාළුවන්ගේ ඇඟ ළඟට ගිහිල්ලා රංචුවක් පිටින් ගිහිල්ලා අර ඇඟ වටේ ඉන්න අර එල්ලිලා ඉන්න පැරසයිට්ස් ටික කඩලා දානවා. ඇත්තම ඒව තමයි උන්ගේ කෑම. සමහරු කට ඇතුළට රිංගනවා. මේ ලොකු මාළුවුන් කන්නේ නැහැ. හරි. එතකොට සමහර කට්ටිය මේ ගිල්ස් අස්සෙන් කටෙන් රිංගලා ගිල්ස් අස්සෙන් එළියට එනවා. ඒවා අර තුවාලේ හැම සුද්ධ කරගෙන. මෙන්න මේ නිසා තමයි වෙනින් සත්තුන්ගේ තුවාලේ හැම සුද්ධ කරන නිසා තමයි මේ කට්ටියෙන්ද ක්ලීනර් රැසස් කියලා කියන්නේ. හරිනේ. Now there are some unique places where these cleaner wrasses are aggregated. Those places are the coral heads. Doctor stations and cleaning stations. Now, since the cleaner wrasses clean the body surface of the other fishes, the cleaner wrasses are commonly known as the doctor in the sea. Right? Beautiful name, isn't it? Doctor in the sea. Okay. Now the question is, how do these big fishes recognize the cleaner wrasses? Now they identify the cleaner wrasses by their unique color combination. The dark black band running along the body, anterior yellow, posterior bluish. Now this is the unique color combination that is unique to the cleaner brush. Okay. So this is the signal that the cleaner brushes use to communicate with the cleaning needed fishes. However, this unique color combination is copied by another fish species, Aspidontus tenuatus. Look at the false cleaner rescue. Now, this is the actual cleaner wrasse and this is the false cleaner wrasse. Right? You see, in both fishes, you will see the color combination is the same. Isn't it? Now, the actual cleaner wrasse's color combination is copied by this one. Why do I say that? Because they also pretend that they are the doctors in the sea. So the cleaning needed large fishes go closer to them as well. So like the actual cleaner fishes, the false cleaner fishes also come, closer to the big fishes, pretend to be cleaning, but instantly they will remove a chunk of the flesh of those large fishes and dart away into the hiding places. Then me ලොකු මාළුවා ඌට තරහ යනවානේ රිදෙනවානේ ඉන්සාර වටේ ඉන්න චූටි මාළු අර ඇත්තම ක්ලීනර් රැස්සස්ලත් අල්ලගෙන කන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. හරි. Initially they were harmless, but now they become harmful. Okay. Now all this is because the false cleaner mass copied the actual color combination of the actual cleaner mass. Therefore, animals, when selecting a proper communication channel, always ensure that the particular color combination or whatever the signal that it uses for communication is not copied by another animal. Did you all understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah. And then third one is, does the chosen communication channel deliver the desired message effectively? තමන් තෝරාගත්ත sannivedana මාධ්‍ය විසින් තමන්ට කිව යුතු පණිවිඩය බොහෝම කාර්යක්ෂමව අනෙක් සතාට ඉදිරිපත් කරනවාද කරන්නේද කියන එක ගැන සතුන්ට සැලකිලිමත් වෙන්න වෙනවා. හරි. Now I'm giving you several examples. Now here is a grasshopper. Can you see this one? This is another, this is cricket varieties. Right? So now these are quite, harmless to other animals. They are herbivorous animals, of course. The grasshoppers and crickets. Right? They feed upon the grasses, leaves, etc. However, they are eaten by the predatory birds. The frogs, reptiles, etc. I remember I told you yesterday, therefore during the daytime they usually hide among the foliage. So at night, if they, at night they begin to chirp. Communication rat. Now the question comes, why did not they, like the fireflies, select the the light for communication? Why did they select the sound? Even at night there are nocturnal predators. Nocturnal predators, like for example owls and some reptiles, snakes, etc. Right? So again, if they come from their hiding among the foliage to the outside at night, again it is dangerous. So even at night also they remain in the foliage. But remaining there, is not the proper way for them to, carry out their communication. So light is a problem. Therefore, they decide to, produce sound to communicate with each other. So the sound is chosen. දැන් අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තනේ ශබ්දය කියන්නේ ආලෝකයේ ගමන් කරන්න බැරි බාධක අභිභාගන යන්න පුළුවන් එකක් කියලා නේද? ඒ නිසා ඕනම දුරකට මේ ශබ්දය ඇහෙන්නට පුළුවන්. So sound is the best communication method or channel for these animals. Now another example, the silkworm, right? It's a very, they communicate by pheromones, isn't it? Now, the pheromones are species specific. Now, only the individuals of the same species are simulated by the bumbicone. It is species specific, right? Now, here again, as far as these, the cat family members are considered. Now, the members, only in the members of the same species will notice the particular smell or the particular message given by the chemical that is released from the feces. Therefore, these animals, what they use is olfactory communication rather than selecting, light production, sound production, etc. for communication. So olfactory communication is what they select. And finally, is it safe to use among the other animals? Taman තෝරාගත් සංවේදන මාධ්‍යයෙන් එකිනෙකා සමග සංවේදනය කිරීම ආරක්ෂාකාරීද? That's the other very important factor that animals have to consider. Now you see, firefly, it's quite contradictory what I told earlier about the grasshopper. I raised the question there, why didn't the grasshoppers, like fireflies, did not select the bioluminescence? Why did the fireflies select bioluminescence? Now they produce the light, but you see, the light is not continuously produced. It's not, continuous. නිවෙනවා පත් වෙනවා. එතකොට පත් වෙලා ඉන්න අතර කාලයේදී විලෝපික සතෙකුට මූව පේනවා. හැබැයි නිවිලා තියෙන කාලෙදී එතනින් එහාට යන්නේ කිව්වද වාට පේන්නේ නැහැ නේ විලෝපිකයට. So these animals, they select the light, but the light is used very wisely among the other enemies, and that wise usage is the intermittent use, bioluminescence. Right? For the grasshoppers, the sound is much safer than the light because they do not have, even if they produce, if they adopt to produce the light, they cannot, communicate by intermittent light production. Now, for the silkworms, olfactory communication is the safest. So those are the factors that animals have to consider when selecting the proper communication channel. So I will tell them again, number one, how much energy is needed for communication. Does the chosen communication channel deliver the desired message effectively? තෝරාගත් සංවේදන මාධ්‍ය කොපමණ කාර්යක්ෂමතාවයකින් අදාළ message එක deliver කරනවා, බෙදා දෙනවා, right? Then is the chosen signal copied by other illegitimate users? නිත්‍යානුකූල නොවන, වළංගු නොවන අනිකුත් සතුන් විසින් මෙම මාධ්‍ය තෝරා ගන්නවා. අන්තිම එක, is it safe to use among other animals? සෙසු සතුන් අතර මෙය භාවිතා කිරීම කොපමණ ආරක්ෂාකාරී? So those are the major factors as animals have to consider when selecting a proper communication channel, right? So then we will I'll talk very briefly about the communication in humans. You see, now we see a group of girls and boys here, young men and young women, right? Now you see, they smile, no? So that is visual communication. The smile can be seen by the other. Also, it appears to us that they smile and laugh. There are facial expressions, etc. So simultaneously, there are visual as well as tactile communication. At the same time, it's possible that they touch each other. Auditory communication is possible. Now, when they are closer to each other, it is possible that they, get the body warmth, the temperature of the other person. So that is thermal communication. So all these major communication channels are being operated as far as the human species is concerned. But like I said yesterday, olfactory communication, we are not yet aware very well about this, right? Because no research have been, people are looking for the presence of pheromones in humans, but it's not that easy to find. You see, now while I was telling all these things, one thing came to my mind, that is a kind of a movie that I watched several years ago. That is The Perfume. The Perfume. බලලා දන්නේ මේ මූවි එක. හලෝ. පුළුවන් නම් හොයාගෙන බලන්න මේක ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ ඔය මේ يعني human scent එකක් ගැන හදන එක. They are all men and women stimulated. This is kind of an imaginary story, but it's a very beautiful film. Good. And finally, I'll tell you about the major functions of animal communication. So animals communicate with each other to obtain mates or an ecological resource. Now, obtaining mate, identifying the opposite sex to attract that opposite sex to you. All those things are involved to attract a mate or to gain access to mates, right? Then to get an ecological resource, parisara sampatak laba ganima. Now, for example, a plate of rice is placed between two hungry dogs. Hello, hello, are you all listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there is a full plate of rice placed between two hungry dogs. Now there are meat to eat, beef, chicken, and all sort of things. මේකට ඉස්සරලාම කන්නේ මොනවද මේවෙන් දන්නවද? Hello, can anyone of you tell what will they eat first? මේක මේ පොඩි ජෝක් එකක් කියන්නවා යන්නේ. ඉස්සරලාම කන්නේ මොනවද? මස්ද, බිත්තරද, කුකුල් මස්ද මොනවද? Hello?
Chicken.
උන් ඉස්සරලාම කන්නේ කවුද? Is that Sonali?
Yes, sir.
Is that Sonali?
Yes, sir.
Okay. උන් ඉස්සරලාම කන්නේ මේ ජෝක් එක මොර රණ්ඩු වෙනවා ඉස්සරලා දෙන්න. හරි ඒක බීලුට කිව්වේ දැන්. හැබැයි මෙහෙමයි උන් ඉස්සරලාම කරන්නේ මෙහෙමයි උන් කැම එක දිහා බලාගෙන එකිනෙකා දිහා බලාගෙන ඉන්නවානේ. They gaze at each other, growling loudly. That will second ගොරෝනවා ඉස්සරලා. කන්න කලින් ඇත්තටම එකිනෙකාට ගොරෝනවා. ඇයි? That is to intimidate other. That's the message given to each other. Each individual will stare at each other, sneer, jeer, and growl. It is possible that one individual to retreat, to go back, to go away is possible, to avoid getting hurt. So the dominant one will get the food. So that's what I'm saying. The major function of animal communication is obtaining mates or an ecological resource. Then coordinating group behavior. In order to coordinate to live as a group, then again communication is necessary. And then communication is necessary for the care of the young, right? Ensures safety and survival of the babies among species that provide parental care, right? Now, parental care, the babies will see the, the facial expressions, etc. And the babies feel the touch of the parents. That's tactile communication, right? The kind of a thermal communication, body warmth, right? So caring for young, and then establishing dominance in the group of defending territory. Dominance, territorial defense. Communication, when you consider about all these things, you see obtaining mates and ecological resource. When you consider these two, then immediately what should come to your mind is obtaining mates. Then the animal who shows the communication will get the chance to mate, reproduce. By doing so, it will be able to disseminate its genes in the environment. And also, if the animal gets an ecological resource, it will survive. If it survives, it can, reproduce again and again. So these two are important in leaving a lot of their genes in the environment. Even if they die, so their genes will be remained in the environment. That ensures its survival, long-term survival. And when you consider this one, caring for young, a kind of behaviors, a kind of communication to safeguard my children, they will be safe enough in the environment, isn't it? They are safe enough in the environment. It's possible that I die, but my children will be saved. Right? Because they are the individuals that are remain in the environment who carry my genes. Even if I die, I don't care because my genes are already there in the environment. I have saved my copy of genes. Right? When you consider these establishing dominance, so if you are the dominant person, you will get more resources, you will get more mates. Similarly, if you defend a territory, sure enough, you will be able to get, mates. Now, you will notice, therefore, the communication ensures the survival and the dispersal of its genes in the environment. Communication එකකින් කරන්නේ අර තමන්ගේ ඥාන හරි ඉස්සරහට පතුරවා ගන්න උදව් වෙන එක. ඇත්තටම මූලික හරය මේ හැම දෙයක්ම කියන. හරි. So that is really the end of this communication lecture. Now there are three lecture sessions.